Welcome back to Matt's Garage. It's a pretty brisk out today, but I felt like getting out here to kind of make something that I've already made, but I want to remake it, but better, you know? On my pit bike, I'll show you in just a second, I have a custom-made exhaust to help with flow, like exhaust flow, because what happens with the stock exhaust, I mean, they're bulky, but they're compact. What happens with them is because you don't have as much flow for your exhaust fumes to go out, you lose a lot of RPM, I suppose, and it causes your engine to go slower because it doesn't have anywhere for the gases to go as fast. So what I'm going to do is take off my current one, so that way I can build one that goes under the seat better, because right now it's kind of next to my leg, which gets a little uncomfortable when it gets warm. So this is the current custom exhaust that I've made. What I did was I cut off the original flange so that way I could get rid of the stock exhaust that was in here. And I put this, which gives plenty of flow, like tons. And it definitely gets way more power out of it. Like you crank the throttle and it tries to take off from underneath you. But what I want to do is take this off. I'm going to unbolt it, cut off the existing pipe I made. And I want to make it so the pipe goes underneath the frame here and comes out the back instead of right next to my leg when I'm riding. So I figured I'd show you what I'm working with. This is the pipe that I currently made for this exhaust. It works, don't get me wrong, but it gets really warm next to my leg because this pipe gets hot fast. So the plan right now is to just cut off the original flange so I have just a flange. I could possibly recycle some of this tubing, I'm not sure. But based on its shape, I need the new pipe to go up and then back instead of out and then that way. Now, much like the exhaust pipe on the lawn cart, I'm going to be using scrap metal that came off of my kid's old bunk bed. And this is tons of pipe, but if you actually look at the difference in size too, this guy would literally fit inside this pipe. So because of the size difference, I might actually reuse this part here, so that way I have somewhat of a taper, because it's got to end up at a smaller hole. So yeah, we'll get started. We'll get this cut off. We'll shape out this piece of the pipe here to go up and then back. So I might just like have to re-angle it this way, and then we will expand into this pipe to go out the back of the seat. So there we go. We've got the flange cut off. It's got to be cleaned up, obviously. And I was looking at the bottom. I'm wondering if I can make the output hole just slightly bigger by getting rid of that inner ring, because that would make this have so much more flow, which would ultimately give it a little bit more power. It'll be nice once I get a bench vise. I'd say that's good enough to start with, a relatively flat surface. So it turns out, with a little bit of persuasion, you know, a flathead screwdriver, a hammer, and a pair of monkey wrench here, I could get that inner ring out. So now I'm going to get much more flow. So now that these parts are separated, I'm going to try to clean up the edge on this to make a new spot for it to mount at the correct angle. So I'm just going to have to size them up and then fit it. And I need this to go basically at this angle, so that way it goes up and under the seat instead of out by my leg. Almost what I'm looking for. All right, size it up on the bike. Let's take a look what it looks like. Keep in mind, I need to make sure that there's still room after done welding to put the lock washers and nuts back on the engine. That's just about where I want it. I'm going to cut a little bit more so there isn't a gap here because I don't want to have to fill any gaps. But then notice it goes under the seat. Might just angle it out. Yeah, it'll go under the seat. I'll extend this pipe using the other pipe that I have, so that way it makes it to the back of the fender. Yeah, that looks like about the right angle. All right, it's welding time. Now, to make sure my parts don't move, I am going to clamp the exhaust flange to the table, and then I'll hook my ground up to the pipe. Oh yeah, that's going to be awesome. Yeah, we can check to see if it fits on the bike frame, and if it fits the way we want, we'll finish the weld all the way around and clean it up. So I just checked the sizing on the bike. It's almost perfect. I'm probably gonna have to bend this part this way because it's hitting the frame a little bit here. But the angle going up to the back over the fender is working just fine. So I'm gonna finish the bottom weld and then bend the top bar. And solid all the way around, which means it'll be a good exhaust vent. There's no slag inside to prevent flow. So let's mount it and see what she sounds like. All right, so it's mounted, and I didn't record this part because I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but it didn't fit originally. So what I did was I took my matte gas torch, this guy, okay, and I heated it up until it was glowing red. Once the middle was glowing red, I grabbed that piece of rebar, rammed it in the end of the pipe, and bent it to fit. So let's see how she sounds now that she's away from my leg. I mean, it's not completely finished. I'm probably going to extend it another day, but I do have to get back to work. So, let's fire it up and hear how she sounds. All right, full start. Well, thank you again for tuning into Matt's Garage. Small little exhaust replacement project. Now it's no longer near my legs, so when I ride, it's more comfortable. If you like the video, go ahead, hit the like button. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Subscribe if you'd like to see some more content, and maybe share it with a friend and see if they might be interested. But hopefully in the very, very near future, we can get some riding videos because the pit bike's ready to go. We finished the ATV project. It's at Buddy's house. So look forward to that. Just some shredding around in the grass, hit some mud, you know. Good times. Anyways, have a good one.